Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and this is Marketing Monday. And I've split the difference between last week and this week about the start time, since some continents went through the daylight savings time change last week, some this week, and some next week. So trying to accommodate everybody's calendars, doing the best we can in a modern world. I hope you're doing well and ready for another Marketing Monday. Today we're talking about making networking work for your mediation practice. And networking is one of those 5 pillar activities that we do to market and promote our mediation and arbitration practices. The others, of course, are writing, speaking, training, and being on social media. But networking is one of the key ways in which we build rapport and trust with prospective clients. So let's talk a little bit more deeply about networking, specifically for neutrals. So it's one of those things that it's important to remember that it is a job. A lot of us see networking as a social event, which it certainly can be, and I hope that you enjoy it. But networking really needs to stay true to the word networking. It's networking, not net sitting, not net dancing, not net eating. It's networking. And you get the most out of networking if you view it as such. And the reason is because if you're going to spend time attending local networking and bar events, right, as we do, you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of them. And so to do that, it's a really simple process, but to do that, you want to create a strategy for how and where you're going to spend that networking time and energy. We want to be well prepared to engage our clients, our prospective clients, our potential clients in really meaningful conversations that build your brand, that lead to referrals, that, lead to direct business for you. That's why we're doing that. Exactly right. So networking, again, it doesn't just mean mingling or shaking hands. You can also consider networking to be public speaking or attending other community events, right? It doesn't have to be just bar associations. It can be other things as well. But for the purposes of this conversation, let's sort of keep it to professional associations or organizations. It can expand out, of course, but for the point of our conversation, we're going to just live right there for the next few minutes. And, most of us, I think, understand the importance of having strong professional networks. Sometimes when I talk to clients, I get the sense that they've got this idea that you can sort of set it and forget it approach. And I think that that's a really big mistake. The assumption being that, you can make a one-off introduction, follow up from time to time, with the occasional message or an obligatory holiday note or something like that. The worst cases that I see are when clients reach out to their network only when they need something from their network. That's a really bad way to use your network and your connections. Instead, I think you'll see a lot greater payoff if you use a little strategy and understand that it takes diligence and consistency. Like with any other relationship, you have to love it and care it and feed it, so that it grows and blooms and blossoms and, eventually has a payoff for everyone involved. So I think that, think about your networking relationships the same way that you think about other relationships, and how you mind and tend and care for those relationships. That's the same way that you need to mind and tend and care for your business relationships. We really don't want that set it and forget it mentality to make its way into our networking mindset and the way that we view the process. That can do a lot of damage. It can really deteriorate your relationships over the long run. We don't want to do that. So let's talk about the strategy. Using an efficient and effective strategy for the ongoing conversations that are necessary for us to have with potential and prospective clients, or even our sources of referral, right? You do sort of need to
to lay that groundwork, right? You gotta prepare for this. And the easiest way to do that is by creating two lists. The first list is a list of the individuals that you know. Make a list of the individuals that you'd really like to know. And they don't have to be huge lists, maybe 50 people, right? And then you want to make a list of the professional associations and organizations to which those people belong. So if you are a mediator, of course you want to join your local mediation association or organization, but that's not really where you're going to get business. That's where you maintain your skill set as a mediator. To get business, you need to go join the associations and organizations that your prospective clients belong to. So if your prospective clients are, for example, accountants, then you need to belong to the Association of American Accounting Professionals or whatever that group is. That's really where you need to be. So you make a list of the individuals, you make a list of their associations and their organizations, and then you want to really focus on which of those you think is going to have the greatest return on investment. And you might have to go to one or two different networking events to see which is the best fit for you before you make that ultimate decision. But you don't want to spread yourself too thinly and join every organization and association and go to every single networking event. You'll just wear yourself out and find that the efficacy and the turnaround is not quite there. So pick one or two, try them on for size, get the right fit, then join. And then really focus on developing a relationship with those groups, right? So, you've joined a group that has whatever is right for you, attorneys or VIPs or influencers within your industry. You build a list of your current clients, your potential clients, friends of friends, people with whom you connect on a personal level, right? All of those people can be put into that list. And then the organizations, you could choose bar associations, you can choose chambers of commerce, networking groups, all of those kinds of groups. And again, just choose a few. Don't spread yourself too thinly. And then think about what active role you can play in them. So you could sit on their board of directors, you could help them with a silent auction, you can do any number of things to really participate at a deep level within those organizations. And that's how you want to spend your time. So now that you've got your list of contacts, we want to switch focus just a little bit and flip it over to the other side. Now, a new list that you want to make is going to be itemizing not what the individuals in those groups or what the organizations can do for you. That was the first list. This list is what you can do for them. So this is your opportunity to channel your JFK and think about what you can do for them, not what they can do for you. And you want to make a list of all of those different things that you can offer them. It's important to think about, can you be a speaker for them? Can you help them with trainings? Can you help them as a director on their board? What can you do to help them? If it's an individual, how can you help them with their practice? How can you help them with their clients? How can you help them with their business? How can you help them with their communication skills or their EAPs, whatever the situation might be? But how can you help them? So now you've got the two lists, the people that you want to work with or the organizations and associations they belong to, and how you can help that first list. And now you start combining those two and making offers. And so the second list can be quite short, it can be quite long, it can be however you need to tailor it. But now you sit down and start connecting all of the dots. Keeping in mind, of course, that networking relationships, they evolve, right? They go through several stages. A relationship doesn't just exist and, then your potential contact suddenly knows your name, suddenly has trust in your abilities, right? You have to go through the process of building the relationships. So you want your contacts to get to know you through all of these efforts so that you stand out, whether it's through writing, speaking, training, sitting on the board, all of those things that we talked about. In whatever way that needs to happen, you become top of mind. You stand out. You're different, right? You're involved. And in that way, you can get introduced to your contacts. Maybe you can have a face-to-face meeting or conversation with them, and that leads to them knowing you and liking you and trusting you. Really important aspect of what we do. But then, of course, there's the last stage of that relationship, and probably one of the most important, and that is the follow-up, the follow-through. Hold on, little drink of coffee. You know how I like my coffee. All right. So most business development strategies are really only concerned with the introduction, right? I mean, you've met the person. Now you should just be able to convert them into new business, and it should just be automatic. And that would be true for some industries, but that's not true for our industry. That's just not how it works for mediators and arbitrators. Our relationship building process is much longer and tends to be much deeper. And so one of the beauties of creating a strategy like you and I are about to do is that it really emphasizes that follow-up period, which is the most important stage of the relationship development that we really want. So you've got your two lists. Now, you really want to highlight on this list how you can contribute to each member of that first list, right? If it's a person, make sure that you're dealing with what their primary concerns are. If it's an entity, if it's an organization, an association, whatever it might be, really highlight how you can contribute to each of those members on that spreadsheet and make notes. And it may not be in obvious or apparent or enormous ways, but make a list of what you can do to help, to contribute, to add value to each one of those relationships. And again, you want to treat these relationships just like you would any other relationship in your life, right? And you have to understand that even if what you think of as being highly relevant information might not be what they're thinking of as highly relevant information. So it takes a little effort for you to step into their shoes and think about what they want from you, not what we're used to offering. We're used to saying, oh, you should try mediation. It's fast, it's fair, it's friendly. Is that really what they want from us? So think about what they want from us. And then you want to be consistent in your outreach. You want to, and I know that it can be tedious on our end, but for the recipients of our information, it's really important. In the same way that they appreciate us being tenacious in the mediation room, we also need to be appropriately, politely tenacious in our outreach. But sending, like a one-off email or a cold introduction to the members of your new association or organization, probably not the best way to create a true valuable relationship. But if you phrase it correctly, you can send out a hello, I just joined this organization. I look forward to reading your posts on social media, or I look forward to seeing you at an event. So you can send a hi, this is me kind of a message, very gentle, right? Kind of a message. And then you can start moving forward from there. And the easiest way to do that is to open a calendar and lay out all of the events, networking opportunities, speakers, bureaus, publications, lay out all of those things. Plug into that calendar all of the various holidays that are coming up and reasons you might have for reaching out. Maybe you release a newsletter or a blog or a podcast or a YouTube video on a regular basis, and plug that into your calendar as well so that you can add those people from that association or organizations to an invitations list to be the recipient of, or a notifications list for those kinds of evergreen assets. And so you put all of these things out on a calendar. Then you combine that with your social media calendar so that you have your networking events. You're going to meet these people at this time for this reason, these people at this time for this reason. You're sending this holiday card to these people for this reason. You've got all of your strategy already laid out. You're already engaging in those associations and organizations. People are seeing your name, and it's regularly done. It's consistently done. And you are there in an appropriate yet tenacious way, and they get to see you time after time, and those relationships build. They get to know you, they get to like you, and they get to trust you, and then they get to become your client. And that really is sort of the basics of making a networking strategy plan. I know it's not really glamorous, but it is necessary to sit down and think about who you're going to talk to and for what reason, and then combine those two things, one with the other, on a calendar so that you have an actual plan. You're going to go do this thing on this day at this time for this reason. And you just keep following up. You just keep going. And those relationships can open so many doors. And I hope that they do for you. But listen, this has been Marketing Monday. I really appreciate that you've joined me today. I look forward to seeing you in future programs. If you've got something that you want me to answer or address, something you're curious about, something that's challenging you in your practice, let me know. Drop me a line, send me an email, put it in the DMs. I'm always happy to address whatever it is that you're concerned about, and be a resource in that way. So my name is Natalie Armstrong. Thanks very much for watching Marketing Mondays. Take care.